Kelly Wilson.
And I'm Molly McNabb.
And we are co-professors for the class Healing Through Humor, where we learn how to make jokes out of our experiences with mental illness, trauma, and grief. And a lot of people wonder, like, why do we want to use comedy for mental illness, trauma, and grief? Like, why do we and how can we make these experiences funny? So we have 4 reasons. The first one is neuroplasticity. So our brains for survival are wired to the negative. And we develop patterns of going to more negative places, going to darker places when we have challenges or difficulties. When you bring in comedy, you learn how to change your brain by thinking in a different way, because pretty soon it becomes automatic and you think, this is a terrible situation. How can I make this funny? Honestly. The second reason is community. There's nothing like getting together with people who you don't have to explain stuff to, who just understand what you're going through. And they're like-minded, similar life experiences, and they help you put jokes together, which is awesome. So those are the first 2 reasons why you would want to use comedy.
So the special part of the comedy we do, mental health focused comedy, is that we can use it to process some of the hardest things we've done in life. And we are not necessarily making fun of our mental illness or anyone else's mental illness. We are taking some of these experiences that perhaps we've seen as negative in our lives and seeing them in a different light. This is called reframing. Taking something you see or feel as one way and changing it to another way, hopefully positive. In this class, we use humor. In reframing these negative events in our lives, we take the power back and we get to own our story. For many of us, some of these hard feelings or situations have been in our memories for many, many years, or things we struggle with in our daily lives. Some of us come to the comedy class absolutely knowing that we may learn to tell a joke or laugh with others, but we are going to keep these core painful struggles forever. Through the process of reframing, we're able to take this power back from those uncomfortable, terrible experiences instead of them owning us. As I mentioned, the class is not about making fun of mental illness. It's about being able to see the humor in some of these situations that we found ourselves in. Being able to rewrite a potentially negative experience or part of our mental health journey with humor, or tap into that inner comedian that's always been inside of us. So learning how to reframe these negative events, feelings, memories is a skill that I've also used outside of comedy, as well as learning it in the first comedy class I took. It has become an automatic coping mechanism at this point. Am I turning everything in my life to positive?
No.
No.
There's always material.
Nope. But most of the time, like when something terrible happens or I hear some bad news or something, my first thought is like, how am I going to spin this and make it funny? Mm-hmm. So here are some of my reframing examples that work for me. So when I found out, I had a brain surgery a couple years ago, I was scared, but I turned it into a joke. So I was I just found out I had brain surgery. What? It's not like it's brain surge. Well, it's not rocket science. So that reframed it and okay, well, at least it's funny. So before my mental health problem took over, I was a doctor, and it was very hard for me to transition over to being on welfare. So I came up with this joke. So we need to talk about all those people on welfare that you see in the grocery store line, whipping their food stamp cards out of their designer purses, holding an iPhone and buying organic quinoa. holy crap, that's me. So in that situation, like, it made me feel a whole lot better about that. I've also I've written jokes about losing both of my parents, other health conditions, suicide, hearing voices, paranoia, all sorts of uplifting topics from which comedy arises. So we can teach you how to tell jokes about all this lovely stuff and how to reframe what, because we've been through it. We've been through all sorts of stuff. And we started where you were once upon a time, many years ago. So we'd love to show you how.
If you're interested, please visit mapyourhealing.com. Go to the classes and events page, and there should be all of the healing through humor information you could ever, well, maybe not all you could ever want, but definitely